Welcome, Truth Seekers. You're listening to A Measure of Truth on blogtalkradio.com, and I'm your host, Michael Fordham. If you've just clicked the link on my webpage, or you're listening on blogtalkradio.com, or even the Blog Talk Radio player on my Facebook page, and you want to call in live, look, we'd love to talk with you. So give us a call. The number is 347-326-9470. Oh, you need a minute to get something to write with? But don't worry, I'll give the number again right after the commentary. Or if you like, you can Twitter me your questions and comments at twitter.com/ameasureoftruth. Also, if you haven't yet, why don't you look me up on Facebook? I'm the Michael Fordham with a photo of me in studio, and you can always email me your questions and comments at ameasureoftruth@gmail.com. Look, we got a great show for you today. We'll be right back after this. Tonight on A Measure of Truth, we talk with Janet Thomas, founder of Bible Stories Theater of Fine and Performing Arts. This is a company that's dedicated to developing the total child by using educational theater programs and fully staged productions to build self-esteem, confidence, and a sense of community while celebrating diversity in a supportive, non-competitive atmosphere. The performing arts are a rigorous academic discipline which requires active learning through creation, practice, rehearsal, and performance of works of art. We, with great pleasure, bring to you Janet Thomas, founder of Bible Stories Theater and Fine and Performing Arts. Janet Thomas, welcome to A Measure of Truth.
Glad to be here.
Oh, well, thank you for joining us. And, you got a pretty unique company going on there, Bible Studies Theater. Tell us a little bit about where this concept came from.
Oh, it's Bible Stories?
Yes, Bible Stories Theater.
Actually, God spoke to me. I had been teaching Sunday school for, 15, 20 years. And I had been writing fiction novels, and I had a published novel, and one of the members of my church asked me to write a stage play. And I told him I don't do stage plays, and he continued to gently pester me, and I said, no, I don't do stage plays. So I relented and did a stage play for the church, for that one persistent person. And from that time on, the Lord had told me that that was what he would have me to do. Haven't wrote a fiction novel since. It's all been stage productions geared toward the children, because I was a primary and first grade Sunday school teacher, so my passion had always been for the small children, and they're more open and thrilled to learn, and they're visual, very visual, so, and they understand when you put it before them and in their face.
Now, how long had you been a writer prior to this?
I have been writing since 1994.
Okay. And these fiction novels, are there something that we would recognize?
Probably.
Okay. Tell us some of the titles.
The title is, the first one that I wrote was Prisoners of Passion. The second was Passion Relinquished. And the third is For the Love of My Man.
Now, the reason why I wanted to
from gospel.
Yes, exactly. So, this was a major departure for you to go into writing plays and not novels, as well as changing your focus as well. And tell us about that. Yeah, tell us a little bit about that defining moment that had you to just continue on that path. When it actually hit you that this is the thing you need to be doing now?
If I could put a finger on it, I would have to say I felt like Abraham when God told him to leave his country, to leave his family, to leave his kindred. And I was kicking and fighting and screaming the whole way because I was into myself, thinking that the road to success was in fiction novels, and I was thinking along the path of the world where people love politics, crime, dysfunctional families, and that was what seemed to be selling at the time that I was writing. And plus, my story was based on the city of Alexandria, where I lived.
Oh, okay.
So it was a love triangle.
Mm-hmm. So when you started with Bible Stories Theater, tell us a little bit about how this actually came about. I mean, what made you decide after doing this play to create a theater company based on this whole idea and concept?
When I first got the concept to do Bible Stories Theater was when I did the very first stage production for myself was titled Nefertiti, 18th Dynasty. And I was doing the research for the background for my family tree, and I thought that I was descended from Nefertiti. And in doing the research, the Holy Spirit hit me and said, well, that's why you need to look into yourself before you grab hold to something and cling to it, because it might not be godly. And so my background in studying and teaching the Bible to Sunday school students, the passion came to when I see their faces light up, and when I was doing auditions for the stage plays, many of the people that responded were young people, and it wasn't until I began to work with the young people that I realized just how deeply troubled the teens were. One of the people that I linked with was a community worker in the recreation center, and he had a lot of children who he said it would be good to work with me, and he asked me, are you going to be able to handle it? And I'm like, why? He said, because they're rough, they're from the street. And that's when I found out that when you give them something to deter them from the streets and you give them something constructive, you teach them lighting, you teach them stage dressing, building the craft, costumes, then they're focused on something that's positive, and they're not on the street. They're dedicated to 6 to 8 weeks of vigorous rehearsals, building this. And one of the things that we did was when we went to Suitland High School, they have a department where they teach sound and lighting, and that was very instrumental. So I was hooked. I'm like, this is what the children need in the whole metropolitan area.
So how many kids are you talking about that are involved in the stage plays that you put together?
Well, just to give you a clue, Nefertiti, we had 40 to 45 cast persons.
Wow, that's just the cast?
The cast, and that was, and out of those 45 to 50, maybe 12 were adults.
Mm-hmm. And then there was a crew as well, right?
Yes. Yes.
So in total, how many people, how many young people would you say?
$25.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. So, and tell us about the performances and the impact. What was the response when you guys actually put on your production?
We did a production at a school in Landover, Thomas Johnson School. We did that for a lunchtime production, and the response was tremendous, and we were called back 2 more times.
Really?
And that was at the request of the students.
So how big an audience would you say that was then?
At that time, we did 7th and 8th grade. So the whole 7th and 8th grade were at each production.
And they really responded to it.
Show, they brought their parents. Yes.
Now, this is something that's done at a secular school, and you're talking about Bible stories. And there was a huge response to that. You know, that's something that most people wouldn't think would have happened. Did you expect that as well?
Well, I did not, and that was because at the time I presented it to the principal. It was presented as an educational piece because it was Egyptian, and it was part of their studies into that period. Now, if I present it to a school now, I cannot use the word Bible.
I see. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And so.
And I even get the response from some churches as well.
Okay. So they allow you to. Are there any other restrictions on the way you present your material other than not calling the production Bible?
Oh, that's the only thing.
Oh, well,
that's the only thing.
Good.
I cannot use the word Bible. I cannot use biblical. I can't use religion in the title at all.
But the stories are, still authentic and exact, and they are the Bible, so the instruction is there. Yes.
But even when I get the restriction from some schools, they tell me I can do it because I do have awareness in arts for children before the title of Bible Stories. So they tell me to be very careful not to use Bible Stories there. It's just restricted to awareness in the arts.
Don't
say Bible.
It's just a shame that the world has come to this. There was a time where we would sing hymns in school, There was a time where there was prayer in school, and it's just amazing today because we're looking at the changes in our young people. So to have you go back into a school environment and have people actually respond to what you do, I think is commendable in itself. And it's just very curious to me that the market for this is the young people that need it the most.
But the restriction is not just in the schools. Some of the community organizations, you would be surprised, who will not sponsor or participate in donating if they're very, very big in the community. Very big. Some of the organizations that we shop at who give heaps of money to will not give, if I use the word Bible.
Well, tell us a little bit. We want to make sure we get a chance to talk about this as well because you have some events coming up and even some contests, I believe, and things like that. Tell us a little bit about some of the goings-on and some of the ways you're reaching out to the young people.
One of the things that very, 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 very excited about is, and I had to change the name to this as well, was one of our fundraisers, and that was a double Dutch competition, and it was called Jumping for Jesus. And in my recruiting of volunteers, I gave each one a list of 10 schools, 10 recreation centers to go to and recruit the teenagers and double Dutch teams. And one of the things that they told me was that they were hitting a brick wall because the teachers and the schools and the recreation centers wouldn't let them sign up children on their site, but they could come back when they were after school or out of school and get the youth. So the White House, Michelle Obama, is fighting against obesity. So I'm excited about doing the Jumping for Jesus. And we haven't had a double Dutch competition in the metropolitan area for many, many, many years, and I'm excited about that. The second is the Cora's Bearable Storytelling, a playhouse, which is meant to be along the line of Romper Room Sesame Street, but the difference is we will be telling stories in a visual part using a lady, and then we would have bears who are in costumes as bears, and they would be telling the stories, demonstrating the acting part of the story.
Oh,
and after
okay.
that, for this Christmas, I will be doing a major big Christmas production called Emmanuel.
And where will that be performed?
Don't have a venue yet, but we are searching in the metropolitan area for a venue.
And you guys are already in rehearsing right now?
We will be rehearsing the first week in September.
Wow. I want to come to one of your rehearsals one day. I want to get a chance to meet some of these young people that are involved and do a little, on-the-spot interview with some of those folks as well, something that we can add to the next time we have you on when you're actually closer to the date of this production. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back with that shortly, right after this.
Hi, I'm Michael Fordham, host of A Measure of Truth on blogtalkradio.com. And I just wanted to let you know that during the next few months, Healthy Kinder Incorporated will be running its Give 5 campaign to raise money for childhood obesity prevention programs throughout the metropolitan area. Please visit the Give 5 campaign page on the website today at healthykinderkids.org to learn more about how you can make a significant difference in the lives of our children. Please share this message with your friends and family members to support this very important and worthy cause. Even their children can benefit from the Healthy Kinder programs. We encourage you to contact your congressperson and state representatives and ask them to support President Obama's health care reform plan. Prevention is key to the survival of our future generation. And thank you for taking time out of your busy day for A Measure of Truth.
Welcome back, Truth Seekers. You're listening to A Measure of Truth on blogtalkradio.com, and we're talking with Janet Thomas about Bible Stories Theater. Welcome back, Janice.
Thank you.
And you're saying that you've got some events that are coming up, and we are just hoping to be able to have you on again closer to that time and promote this as much as possible, maybe even help you find a venue and some other methods to get this story out. But tell people how they can contact you as well as your nonprofit that's connected to what you do.
They can go to my website, which is www.biblestoriestheater.org. They can email info@biblestoriestheater.org, or they can call the 800 number, 800-892-5802. Or if you still use the snail mail of communication, you can mail the Bible Stories Theater, 107 South, is S.West, W-E-S-T, Street, Suite 527, Alexandria, Virginia, 22314.
All right, great. And now we want to talk a little bit about your new gospel record label that you're starting. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh my gosh, it's really, really funny. The whole writing stage plays and writing gospel music. And one of the things that I used to say that I could never write a song because even when I write letters, they turn into short stories. And to write a song or to write poetry, you have to be disciplined. And then I have to give glory to God because everything that I've done since my fiction writing has been inspired by the Lord. And every time I get an assignment, such as anything that would take me away from what I perceive myself to do, and which is part of the growth period, he told me to write songs. So when I did Nefertiti, there came to me an idea to make music. I didn't want to go the route of getting licensed, soliciting the rights to play other people's music. So I sat down, pen to paper, and wrote the lyrics to first one song, and now I've written over maybe 125 songs. And the difficult part was then I had to go out and get a producer to produce the music for it. And
wait a second, you just said you wrote 125 songs. How long did it take you to do that?
Sometimes I could write 2 to 3 songs a night. So the 125 songs I've written in about 3 years.
Really? So when you say you wrote the songs, did you write the melodies? Did you have that in mind as well, or you just wrote the lyrics and the words to the song?
I write the lyrics. Then once I find a producer that I like and that is comfortable with, then they allow me. They're very patient with me because I can't sing. And so when
I'm with you.
Oh my gosh! You know what? If they were to put me on stage at one of my productions and they would have me to sing a solo, you would think there was a fire because people would be running from the auditorium. But what I do is I sit down before we actually get the artist in to sing the song. I sit down with the producer and I hum the beat, the melody to how I want it. And usually when I get the song, I hear it in my head. And you know how you sing in the shower?
No, I don't
hear
do
it
that.
in my head.
I'm backing away from the singing totally. You're not going to get me to admit to singing at all.
So that's what I do. So what we do is we sit down and we work together on the beat and the melody and the hook. And many times I completely reformat the lyrics, which is sometimes a battle, because the Lord gave me the song, and he said, well, Janet, then you should put this here and maybe move this around here. And I'm like, no, that's not the way I heard it. Okay.
Tell us about your youngest artist, the new young artist that you have coming out.
The youngest I have is 13, and she sang the new theme song for Cora Spears, and she will be singing.
Well, tell us her name.
Her name is Kaylin Griffith,
and
she's just sent from heaven. She's 13, and she loves the Lord, and I just got a new song. You want to listen to it? I'm like, yes. And but she can sing.
Right.
So she sings it to me, and she sings it beautifully. And she's really filled with the Spirit. So everything that she when it gets to heaven, it sounds like Mahalia Jackson.
Really? Wow. She has a big voice like that? Oh.
She has but she doesn't have the hard, seasoned voice as Mahalia. But she sings with that passion.
Right. And, we hope to be able to hear a little bit more about that and hear some tracks and maybe even have her on in the near future as well. We plan on checking back with you, especially before this production is out. And now, with the record company itself, will this also still be a part of the same nonprofit that you have, or will this be a separate entity itself?
It will be called Bible Story Records, and it will be under the umbrella of Bible Stories, but it will not be a nonprofit.
And give people an idea. So you're talking gospel music in the sense of the storyline, but the music, is it traditional gospel or is it something that's more new age?
It's new age.
Oh, okay.
I even have a brass song.
Okay.
That I took. I took when I was at one of the productions that we did at Thomas Johnson Middle School. One of the students came up to me and she said, "Miss Janet, I can rap." And I said, "You don't even talk." Yeah, I was because she's very, very quiet and she was a recluse. "Oh, you don't even talk. You can't rap." So I invited her over to the studio one day when I was doing some other songs, and I had her just sit with me. And there's a rumor that goes around that Gladys Knight is called the one-hit wonder. She goes in the studio, she gets the song, and she does it in one take. Well, this 16-year-old, the other guys that I took at the summers that I went to do some of the other albums that I did, I usually spent 2 to 3 weeks in the studio with them to do a single song. This young lady went in the studio, and the producer told her, "When I put my finger, I want you to go ahead and do the song the way Miss Janet wrote it." She said, "Okay." She did it in one take.
Awesome.
And that's the song called "I Give You Me." It's absolutely fabulous.
Wow.
16 years old. So I do rap. I do the new age. I do some of the traditional ones. The "I Am Your Lamb" was written for the one that is now 13 when she was 8. But when she went in the studio, it was terrifying for her to see all the equipment, and she froze up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So because we had the studio for that hour, the guys that were in there doing the other songs, they sang "I Am Your Lamb." So that is definitely a traditional hymn, which is also awesome. So I do anything. If rap will go reach the children, then they can rap it. If the senior citizens like something a little more traditional, then we do that. I'm even tapping into opera.
Wow. Now, that is a stretch.
There's one song that I wrote. There's a song that I wrote called "A Name Above All Names." And I haven't decided if I want to do it on the same album, but it will be a contemporary, new age, and then the same song will be in opera.
Interesting. Well, you gave us quite an earful. So, well, we look forward to hearing how this all pans out, and keeping up with how things, progress with the record label as well as theater. And I just want to thank you for coming on board and sharing that information with us. And we're going to take a quick break, and you can hang in there if you like, because we're going to talk with a representative from Young Lives, one of my favorite charities out there, impacting the lives of young girls. And we'll come right back after this.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Hi, I'm Michael Fordham, host